All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We're down here at SHOT Show 2019, and we're kind of rolling through a lot of our new products that we have that we're coming out with this year. A lot of buzz about this stuff, and we're giving you guys a kind of behind-the-scenes look behind the people who are actually driving these products, right, and how they come to market and why we're doing the things we're doing, right? So first, I have Vicky here, Vicky Peters. She runs all the gold ring products, so anything with the gold ring you see like that has had her hands all over it. And then, John, you do the tactical stuff, right?
That's correct.
So all the Mark 5s, Mark 6, Mark 8s, all that good stuff. So these are the people behind the products. And again, we just want to pull the curtain back a little bit and kind of tell you the why behind the new products we're coming out with. Obviously, there's a lot of cool features about them, but why you're going to benefit in the field, what you're going to look for. And Vicky, I'll look to you first to talk about kind of the new stuff that's coming out in your line.
Sure. So I think everyone's familiar with the great VX5 HD product that we launched last year. Has the 5-to-1 zoom system, which means the high power is 5 times higher than low power. So you get great low power field of view and really good high powers. And now we've taken it to a new level, getting the higher high powers in here.
Yeah.
So we have, right here I have a 4-to-20 with the CDS ZL, similar adjustments to some of the current VX5 HDs.
Right, so those adjustments have been on the previous versions, the 3-to-15, the 2-to-10, right?
Right.
And so on, yeah. It's been a really, like you said, it's been a super popular line. A lot of people are surprised at that price point, the features, the amount of features, right, they get for that scope. It
really is a performance-packed product. It's really been a real winner for us. I loved using this whitetail hunting myself this year.
Oh, awesome.
Just an incredible product. I used the 3-to-15 myself for that particular hunt.
I just want to touch on that for a second. That's really cool. The product line managers are also the shooting, too. So you hunt all the time. John, I know you shoot a bunch of PRS matches and long-range matches and that kind of stuff.
Try to, yeah.
Right. So it's really important that real-world experience is in the product, right? You're taking your learnings, the stuff that doesn't work, the stuff that does, and rolling it into the new products, which I think is really important, from a consumer's point of view.
It makes it really satisfying to have a career where you get to work with a product that you love to use all the time. So it really is wonderful. This scope in particular is near and dear to my heart because it's such a great antelope scope, and I've shot more antelope than probably deer even over the years. I used to antelope hunt every year, and being sort of low profile and compact and still having a nice high power and a fairly compact but functional adjustment like this is great for a lot of the western big game hunting.
Right.
But this scope also comes with the same elevation adjustment this big cousin of it has. This is called the CDS TZL3.
Right.
So it has the custom dial system like we have on these other products, but also has 3 turns and a 0 lock with a really functional, easy to read revolution counter through this little window right here.
And that's available, that's on the 4-to-20 and the 7-to-35, right?
Correct.
You can get that TZL3.
So this is really getting into some serious long-range equipment without a lot of expense here. It's a great product.
Yeah, so what would I use that for? Like a bench rest shooter maybe, like competition, or maybe F-class or something?
I think certainly F-class. We have the 7-to-42 in our VX6 line that is intended for that also, but this is really a great starter scope for people that are getting into that without having to break the bank. So
nice.
And great for varminting and shooting steels, all sorts of target shooting.
Yeah, and these have what size main tube on these ones?
These are these are 34 millimeter.
34 millimeter main tube, so you get a lot of travel, right, with the scope, for reaching out at those long distances. It's really important. So, I can see this 4-to-20 being really popular, even for hunters and stuff like that. Guys who just want a little more magnification, that's really popular nowadays. They want to reach out a little bit further. 4-to-20 is going to be really popular, and even 735, like the weight too. Like you'll be really impressed on how light these scopes are. I mean, we always lead the class in the weight savings, right? But I mean, a 7-to-35 scope that weighs that much, that's pretty crazy.
What's great is that it's got the weight, but it also has a super strong main tube. I mean, we see some imported scopes where they put a tape on here saying that don't torque it over some extremely low number, and these are really very durable.
Right, the torque limits are like 16 inch-pounds or 17 inch, which is really low.
Don't use a cheater bar on it, but it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, we design these things to be super, super durable, obviously, throughout the line. So, yeah, and then then we have kind of going the other end of the spectrum there, the RDS there, right?
Right, and since that kind of falls between the Goldwing and the tactical product, John's really been the lead on that, so I think I'll turn this over to John to talk about that.
Yeah, awesome.
So the RDS it kind of came about of a lot of the craze that's out there with the ARs right now, and there's a lot of people that are getting into shooting. We took our knowledge of building riflescopes and we're able to get it down into a platform like the red dot sight. So it's just an LED tube sight. Something that we've done that I haven't seen anybody else do. We have a 1 MOA dot in here, right? So this was kind of built for the guy that's going to throw it on an AR and go out and do some shooting. We added the BDC dial because with the small dot, now you can take your red dot and you can actually stretch that thing out to 400 or 500 yards with no problem.
Right. So that's one thing commonplace I see in a lot of lower end red dots and stuff, entry level ones, that the dots are really big. It's a 3 MOA dot or a 6 MOA dot or something like that, and which is fine if something's 10 feet away from you, but you get even further back, it starts covering up a whole bunch, right?
Yep.
Or you put a magnifier in front of it, now that dot's double or 3 times as big, right? So that 1 MOA dot is really, really beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't cover up a lot of the target, so you can actually get out to those extended distances with a red dot, and the people who've shot it so far have been surprised at what they're capable of doing when they're running it on their gun.
Yeah, and so there's a couple different models. Obviously, this one here has the BDC dial on it, and it comes pre-calibrated, right?
Yeah, it'll have a dial that's built for your standard 55 grain 223 ammo out to 500 yards. So we can really stretch them out.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised what you can do with a red dot, like John was saying, and that how capable these rifles are actually. At engaging, distances 500-600 yards, pretty accurately. So
yeah, and the great thing is also, most of the stuff that's out there on the market, we have the capabilities, we have the people, we have the facilities. So you're getting a red dot at a really reasonable price that's made in the U.S.
Right.
So it's made in our factory.
Yep. It comes with the mount too, which is really great. I mean, you pop it out of the box, you mount it up, put it on the rifle.
Ready to go on the rifle and start shooting.
Yep. It's got the push button illumination. Does it have the motion sensor too?
It does have motion sensor, so just like with our VXRs and the 6s and 5s, if you set the gun down for 5 minutes, it shuts itself off.
Yep.
And any motion comes right back on to whatever setting you had it on. It's the standard 8 brightness settings. One cool thing with the design of this scope is the dot gets really bright. So daylight, bright sun, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to see the dot in that thing, where some of them out there, they tend to fade out a little bit.
Get washed out a little bit. Yeah, that's super important. Absolutely. It's a great optic. Everyone that we've showed it to has been really, really excited about it too, especially when you tell them the price point. And they're like, and the durability too, like how durable that is. We were talking about that, we put everything through the same really harsh impact test. And we couldn't break that thing. As much as we tried, right? It's just built super rugged, which again at that price point, at that lower end, that red dot, you don't see that ruggedness really. It's a Leupold, so it's lifetime warranty too, which is awesome. Yeah. So,
if I could add something, one of the things I love about this product is that it tracks like a rifle scope. It tracks really precisely. So a lot of red dot sights, you do a lot of fiddling around to get it sighted in. Then you better not touch the adjustments again because they're unpredictable. This is really a precision tracking scope.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah, it took all the learnings from the scope and rolled it into the red dot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool. Awesome. What else do you got there, John?
So on my side of the house, I'm actually pretty excited. So this year, we introduced our Mark V HD scopes last year in the 3.6 to 18 and the 5 to 25 magnification ranges. To the points Vici made earlier, it's a 5x zoom, so you've got that really broad range of magnification. And this year we increased it to 7 to 35. So this is the debut for our Mark V HD 7 to 35. Same features as all the other Mark V family. It's got a 35 millimeter main tube that gives us a ton of travel. The 7 to 35 is going to have just over 100 MOA travel, so 29 mils, which is a lot. The guns that they're shooting nowadays, that's going to get you out a long way. Three turn dial, zero lock dial, right? So you don't have to worry about the dial moving on you, but you got all that travel in there to get you out to the distances
The people are a little, when you say 35 millimeter main tube, they're like, wow, why did you go through the 35 millimeter main tube? Can you talk a little about the reasoning behind that? I know it has to do with kind of the erector system in there too, and some of the internal parts.
As we increase the size, the diameter of the main tube, right, that allows us to tilt the erector. So the erector is inside the scope, and that's how we control where your point of impact changes, right? So a lot of people think that you're moving the crosshairs inside the scope.
Right.
What we're actually doing is we're moving the image that you see. The crosshairs stay stationary. So we do that by tilting the erector system up and down, left and right, to change that point of impact. So with the bigger main tube diameter, it allows us to get more travel out of the scope. We can just, move it farther inside the main tube.
Right, and I tell people too, like we could have reduced the size of the erector system even. You could have reduced the diameter to gain much travel, but we won't skimp on the optical quality of the scope, right? And that's really what drives, the image quality and light getting to the shooter's eyes, that erector system. Fortunately, the part that you can't see inside the scope. So it needs to be a certain size in order to maintain that great image quality that Leupold's known for, hence the 35 millimeter main tube. We make a full line of rings now, though, for it, so it's really not an issue anymore. It's the Mark IV, even the backcountry rings, the integrated mounting systems, all in 35 millimeters, so we've got a lot of options there. We also have some different models, too, with MOA, right?
Yep, so we're showing off, we had a lot of demand from shooters. The first introductions were mil-radian reticles and adjustments. Had a lot of demand from the guys that like to shoot using MOA as their increment of choice. Yeah. So we have MOA models now available in the 3.6 to 18, the 5 to 25, and they'll be in the 7 to 35 as well.
Nice. So you get MOA adjustments, same style adjustment, right, as that adjustment there on the mill one. And then Impact 60, right, reticle?
Impact 60 and the PR1, Precision Rifle 1, MOA reticle.
Nice.
Yep,
so that's kind of a TMR-esque looking reticle.
It's more of a simpler holdover reticle.
Yeah.
Sorry. Still fully featured, has a lot of features to it, but not quite as much going on in the field of view as you do with the Christmas tree style reticles.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would like to say I really like how the PR1 has so much more scale down on the lower part. You might as well get more distance. A lot of us are using it to extend our adjustment range out to ridiculous ranges to be able to have that added holdover. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially on the windage too. It's great to have those. Like yesterday, for instance, we had the 735 out at range day, and the wind was 30 miles per hour. We were using 8 mils of wind on the holdover, right, to get on target at 1,000 yards. But guys were doing it accurately. They couldn't believe how easy it was to get on target at 1,000 yards with that 7 to 35, even having to hold that much wind.
Yep.
And how crisp the image is. Even you're having a holdover, so you're using the outer part of the lens, but it's still really crisp, the image you can see. So that's something to look for too when you look at those scopes. Don't just look at the center of the optic. Look at the whole thing and see how crisp it is. That's kind of throughout the line of scopes. So even the gold rings ones, absolutely something that sets us apart, right? That optical design. So that's super important. The MOA models, look for those. I know there's a lot of crossover too. A lot more hunters are starting to use those Mark Vs, the 3.6 to 18, and maybe they're more familiar with an MOA a scale instead of a mil one. So that's something to look forward to. Yep. Awesome, guys. Well, good stuff. Thank you for joining me and going over the product. And for you guys at home, if you're at SHOT Show, definitely stop by the booth. Check out all this stuff. If not, go to Leupold.com. You can find out more information about all these awesome new products coming out. And until next time, we'll see you.